Hi everyone, welcome back and thanks so much for liking my channel. You've inspired me to make more videos in the future. And for today I'm going to show you how the last 12 months have been with our Cockatiel Mojo. We rescued him from the pet store because he acted all cute and we fell in love with him straight away. They told us he was 4 months old and hand trained. That's not true, we knew that when we bought him. But we just needed to be patient, do a lot of training, and we will do our best to make him a happy boy. The first 10 days he had a hard time acclimatizing. After that we got a bit of a connection with him. We did this at first by talking to him and feeding him candy from outside the cage. Slowly we stepped it up and got to feed him candy from inside the cage. When he had a good day, he would get onto our hand. Other days he didn't want to do anything, not even for the nicest candy. And the more we practiced, the easier and faster he got on. And that was all within 1 month of training. An amazing progress.
Yeah? I'd love one.
So in our case, the bird probably had never flown before. You can see he falls down on the ground because he can't get down. His wings aren't clipped, he can fly upwards, but he has trouble landing and coordinating the flight. We started training him short distance flying first to gain his confidence. We did that with the cage open because he really doesn't know how to get in via the door. We're working on that.
What's up?
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Whee.
Hello. Hello. Hello?
He is still really scared of everything that's new to him. He didn't want to get near his toy until we put candy under the basket. It was more food hunting than playing. We think he'd never had toys in his life before, so we want to introduce him to it. As well as the swing that he finally gets through after 2 weeks and only because he had to pass it to get to his food. But isn't he cute?
You gonna give me a kiss?
Since he wasn't that eager on flying, we put the cage on the ground and opened the top part of it. This way, he had the time to get used to his freedom without having to fly. We sat next to him to talk and tried to do some hand feeding. This was a really good way to bond with him. Every time he flies, he goes to the stairs, and he prefers to fall asleep there. If he wanted to come down, he could only do that by doing a crash landing or get into the top curtains. We started by picking him up with the cage top, so he would always get down safely. Here, he accidentally landed on our shoulder and turned out that he was really comfortable and didn't want to leave. It was so cute. And now that we know he can do it, we're very motivated to keep training him that way. As long as we didn't show our hands, he would get on our sleeves, following a beautiful trail of bird candy towards his shoulder. We put his cage next to the couch because we would really like him to sit with us. He could watch us from close by and explore whenever he was ready. He only needed to do a small hop to get onto the armrest or onto our sleeve. He gave us the option to train him while we were seated and comfy, so we were more patient to him. Here he is next to us on the couch, trying out some water, and more we see this eager bird that tries out new things. It's amazing. Here you will see his daily flight to the stairs. He will try until he nails it. But we wanted to train, so we brought him down with his cage top. And it was cool to see that he made a jump onto the cage itself. We put the cage next to the couch because it was time for hand training. He was still very scared for hands, and it took a lot of patience for him to overcome his fear. So we took our time and finally he did it. We combined hand training with walking around his cage, so he'd get better at both at the same time. We realized that if we didn't do the hand training daily, he would forget his progress and get scared of our hands again. So we stayed on top of it to keep the progress going. Also, we tried to teach him how to get in and outside of the cage himself by going through the magical door to the outside world, something that's unknown to him so far. We did that by putting food in and around his cage, so he was motivated to walk through the door every time. It made him confident walking around his cage, and he got a lot more agile. And look at him now! He's a true explorer. He accidentally landed on my laptop, looked really happy about it, and he wanted to explore more. So he jumped on my phone that was filming. He was just looking so happy, and he confirmed that by singing happy songs.
Hey!
And he made it onto my shoulder again. He looks really comfy. I love it. We bought him a mirror and he loved it instantly. And he loves chatting to it. His cage came with 5 tin perches. These are too thin for a cockatiel to sit comfortably and they don't help shorten the toenails. So I bought some natural branches of varying thickness. He was avoiding it at first because he hates new things in general, but he got pretty comfy over time with it. We still needed to have candy on our shoulder in order for him to get onto it, but once he was on it, we could slowly take the candy away and he would fall asleep on our shoulder. Other times he'd fly to the stairs, even though we blocked it. And since he still doesn't know how to fly down from the stairs onto the cage or onto our sleeve, we kept bringing him to bed with the cage down. This was the first time he would let me kiss him without getting angry. It was so cute. We put the cage top flat onto the ground, right next to the couch. He only had to do a small jump or a small hop to get onto it. It was a nice short distance to boost his confidence and gain successful experiences. On a good day he would make the jump, and whenever he nailed it, we increased the distance, so he had to fly a bit further and got better at it. Here is the first time he's walking onto his platform after ignoring it for the whole week. He's walking over a plate of food for the first time. He's not eating, but I'm really happy that he's exploring it. And slowly I'm trying to introduce him to different kind of foods. Like this cracker. But unfortunately he doesn't eat fruit or veggies yet. We're working on that. Another crash landing, straight into the kitchen this time. He didn't want to hop onto my hand, but I managed to pick him up with the candy stick. And I put him straight onto the table. Whenever he hears another bird, he would start screaming really loud and panic. And here is the usual angry bird attack. Sometimes because I didn't sit still enough, and sometimes because he just wants to. Luckily, he forgets it in a second and he's happy again.
Hello. Did you just drop a poo? Yeah, you can laugh about that. Hello. Hello.
He was comfortable to hop on and off the couch now, so his small distance flying improved. And he surprised me by flying straight onto my sleeve for the first time. And he just wanted to sleep with me and eat some bread. Here it's showing that he's getting more comfy and attached to us. He's staying on my shoulder, and no matter how many movements I made, he was staying until he panicked and did a crash landing again. The good thing is that this time was the first time he jumped onto my sleeve after the crash landing and let me help him. So that was clearly a good day for him. On a bad day, he will ignore us and the lovely candy we're offering, no matter what we do. And on the shoulder, he will get mad at any minor movement. We're better off bringing him to bed in that case and try again later when he feels lively and is more able to enjoy us. Here he's playing with a new toy. He was very scared of it at first. But after we put a lot of candy in it, and after he got hungry enough to find it, he loved this toy. He is getting really good at hopping on and off the couch from this distance. So next time we'll put the cage top a bit further in the direction of his cage, 10 centimeters per time. Because our goal is that he can fly from the cage to the couch and back whenever he wants. Another crash landing, into the kitchen again, and he did not walk onto my sleeve this time. He is starting to get more attitude and he's starting to show his personality. I'm really happy to see it. This month we mostly spent time having him on our shoulder and he'd fall asleep with us. It takes up a lot of time to maintain what he had learned, so we didn't have a lot of time for learning new things this month. Here you can see we stepped up the level. He had to walk all the way to the other side of the couch to get to his candy. This is how we continuously try to encourage him to get more comfortable around the house. He loved sitting inside the cage in front of the open door, feeling his freedom but not taking it. He would make beautiful noises and look really happy.
Hey. So, you can take your freedom. You could get out.
As long as we don't bribe him with candy, this is where he wants to be. So until now he was fine on my shoulder as long as I didn't move. And here I'm moving my cup to drink and you see how angry he gets. I'm slowly trying to get him more comfortable with those movements. Yet another crash landing. He's totally okay with it today. First time he doesn't look scared after it and he's actually acting playful. But still he didn't want to jump on my sleeve. And voila, we got a new cage. It's 78 centimeters wide, 80 centimeters tall and 48 centimeters deep. With the roof extension, it's 100 centimeters tall. Big enough and way easy to carry in the car if needed. We taught him how to walk onto the top surface, how to get inside and outside via the cage top, and how to get in and out via the front door. Now we only had a small lightweight piece to lift up. It made it a lot easier for us to train him since we put him straight onto the couch and gave him some options to explore. He could jump onto the table, eat his candy, try out some cheese, drink water, sleep, or walk towards us. And we could just watch TV while he's learning at his own pace. I could definitely recommend that. And here is the example again, that whenever he freaks out, he flies to the curtains. Long distance is still hard for him. We also train him to fly downwards onto the cage top by moving it a little bit further away every time. Now that we put his cage top onto the table, we use that space to introduce him to things. For example, this bathtub. He is still really scared of it, but he's checking it out. And I like that he took a sip of water by climbing an object. We realized that he was very active in the mornings and that it was the best time for him to learn. So instead of giving him food in his cage, we decided to make him fly to the couch for his breakfast. This was exactly the distance we wanted to train, since he was getting better at small distances. And he nailed it every time, because he was very eager to get to his food. Here he's on my laptop again, and then hopping onto the cage, as if it's nothing. Then, after a crash landing on the floor, I convinced him to hop onto the table, and he did it. That was quite a jump up. So he's definitely getting better at hopping around, flying around, walking around, trying new things. And he looks happy. Here he is, trying out a toasty for the first time. He doesn't like my hand when it comes near, but he wasn't too mad. And here he discovered that rice is really yummy. And he is slowly exploring his love for croissants. I bought him some partial pellets to introduce him slowly to the idea of pellets. At first he didn't want to eat it, but quite soon he loved it. Good thing about this one is that it looks like his regular food, so he wouldn't be too scared. I really wanted him to get used to water, so I sprayed him with my plant spray so he'd already get used to the feeling of it. We love hanging out together on the couch. I'm trying to get him less scared from my hand by leaving it close to him and hold it still. If he's okay with it, then I move it a centimeter closer, leave it still again, and eventually he learns that my hand is safe while it's quite close to him. We made so much progress last month, except for the hand training. We had to take a few steps back to get him onto our hand, so I bribed him with the biggest candy I could find, and he'd hop on, and we kept repeating it daily. Here we try if he can do a little bit of a longer flight towards the cage. And he got it. And this is how we put him to bed. He flies a lot more controlled and a lot more often. And he got that comfortable at flying that whenever he freaked out, he could just land nearby and he didn't have to go to the top curtain. Also, he started to become okay with our hands. And on bad days he wouldn't hop on, but on the good days he would come quite quickly. If he chooses not to hop onto our hand, we will try and get him onto our shoulder because it's a lot easier for him. If he has a really bad day, he would have a lot of doubts getting on, but normally it goes quite quickly and we get him on straight away. His grandma taught him how to walk the stairs while birdsitting. It's good for him to learn because it was something he had never done before, and we wanted him to learn to get comfortable with different kind of toys. Is it time for some baiting with candy? No, it's too scary. But he did try out the water, so that's a start. And this day is an example of how bird training looks like in real life. His first attempt, he gets on my hand and flies away because he's too scared. He wants the pellet though, so he's coming back. Not sure how to do it. He hops on my hand, looks at the food, and flies away. He comes back out again. He wants it. He really doesn't want to step onto my hand, as you can see, so he's trying to get to the food without having to step on. Didn't work. He thinks about it, he goes back into his cage, comes out with a new plan, and jumps straight onto my hand and ate it. Here I'm introducing him to an apple that he refuses to eat these days, even though we know he liked it when he just arrived. And because I still want to introduce him to fruit, I bought him a fruit cup at the pet shop. He kept ignoring it for days, so I got a new one and put a pellet in it to trick him. And it worked. Here we did a slight attempt to pet him. He doesn't like it yet, but we'll keep trying. Now that it's all going so well, we will try to make him fly further away to get onto our hand as well. And after eating dinner with us, he had a freak out moment and he managed to land right next to us on the couch. He is so happy and comfortable to be on our shoulder now. Here we're cooking together. He does stay without the candy too, but since he doesn't know the kitchen area well, I gave him candy so he wouldn't fly away in panic when I moved too sudden. And here you see the first time that he actually started cuddling in with us. We weren't allowed to make any small movements, but he really wanted to cuddle. It was so cute. Here he denied my hand training efforts and jumped straight onto my shoulder instead. And this is the first time he flies from the curtain all the way to the cage on the other side of the room. This meant we didn't have to come and pick him up anymore, which is great. Here his daily breakfast on the table, where he had to fly to. Very good training, but yet here another crash landing. I really want to pick you up, buddy, with my hand. No, he doesn't want it. But he flies back to the cage himself. That's awesome. Cuddling in again. And he starts doing that almost every time he's on our shoulder now. It is so cute. And he did a head landing for the first time. Here I'm trying to get him used to the cave that we got him by putting a lot of candy in it, but he really dislikes it. Yet another typical example of his original fear of hands that popped up. Still a bit scared. And here it shows that he still doesn't like hands coming near him. We started focusing on hand training again because he forgot how lovely our hands were. Also, he just walked in front of my face and started cuddling. And occasionally he bites me, even though I didn't really move in my opinion. But hey, let's not argue it. I love it too much. On the good days we didn't need candy anymore to pick him up. He would jump straight onto our shoulder. On the regular days we still needed candy. We just had to keep the candy on the shoulder and he would hop on or jump on straight away. Here a video of one of those days that he just doesn't want to hop on. That still happens on the bad days. Everyone has a bad day and we allow it. We tried giving him kisses when he wasn't paying attention and he's sort of okay with it on a good day. And here I finally captured his daily flight from the cage to the table that he's been doing for a while now. He seems so comfortable with it. I'm so proud. And when we placed the candy onto us, he actually started climbing us straight away. Something he hasn't done much yet, and I'm so happy with that progress. Here I'm trying to pet him while he's distracted eating candy, but he's not really okay with it yet. Maybe later. He took really tiny candy from our hand, which meant he had to get really close to it. So that is all he learned in 1 year. It's so cool. He actually comes and sits with us, cuddles with us, sings really nicely. He looks really happy, and there's a lot more of potential in him. I think he's going to be so awesome. Our future goals are to bond with him more and try to give him some kisses, and we would love to pet him. Also, we want to make him comfortable with bathing and maybe teach him some whistles. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe because more is coming.